The Oakland A's are doing their best Scooby-Doo impersonation. Ruh-roh.
You are Locked On A's, your daily Oakland A's podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Well, all right, let's dispose of the formalities and tell you this should be an awesome episode of Locked On A's. I'm going to kind of make sure of that, okay? Thanks for being here. My name is Wayne Coy. I am a lifetime Oakland Athletics fan, longtime media dude in the Bay Area, and now residing in Las Vegas. Want to thank you for making Locked On A's your first listen every single day. And of course, don't forget we are available wherever you find a podcast. There are lots of places to get those. Chances are we're there. In fact, I'm pretty sure of it. And YouTube as well. Don't forget, if you like YouTube, make sure you give us a like and let the world know that you have found Locked On A's. Happy to be here with tonight's episode brought to you by, or today's, depending on when you watch this, FanDuel. You know all about FanDuel. Make every moment more. And right now, new customers, check this out. You get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com. And that's /locked on, FanDuel.com/locked on, and you can get started. Well, today, just kind of a mixed bag. We do have so much to cover here and so little time, but let's get right to it. We want to share with you a tweet. No, do you not call them tweets anymore? I know it's X, but well, I still call them tweets. Anyway, maybe you saw it, maybe you didn't. Vital Vegas, our friends over there with this. Props to Field of Schemes for staying on the A's train wreck. Related, Trop landowner, Gaming and Leisure Properties, Inc., brought in respected Marnell companies for renderings and consultation. Conclusion was, space is too limited for retractable roof design, so more room is needed. But due to proximity to the airport, the planned resort can't make up revenue due to a smaller footprint. By building higher, these obstacles are in addition to Bally's Corp having no resources and the A's having provided no clues about its $1 billion contribution. If the A's move happens at all, look to the festival grounds or the Rio. That sure sounds familiar. You know, what do they say? Where there's smoke, there's fire. I don't know who they are, but they said it. And that's certainly the case here. As just an observation, we have been saying kind of all along, there's just not enough real estate there, 9 acres, right? So where does the Trop bend, if they do at all, when it comes to their new structure? What about that airport that while we were all foaming at the mouth, well, I wasn't, but you were, over those fake renderings that showed you the MGM Grand and what a beautiful view it was going to be, the whole time the guy who lives here was saying, wait a minute, hold up. Sorry, I don't know what you're seeing on Google Earth, but that's the airport and that's the FAA. And if you think that they're going to allow that, meaning a big old retractable roof stadium to go there, you got another thing coming. So back to where I was before, which was me saying, when it's all said and done, if they're going to come to Las Vegas, they're probably not going to stay on this little 9-acre postage stamp. That's first thing. And if they do, then it's going to have to be a dome and a very small footprint. But as you heard, accountants actually, get into the work, right? They roll their sleeves up and they get out their pencils and they figure stuff out. And I think what they're saying is that dog don't hunt. So you got a little bit of a problem because, as you may or may not know, SB1, which passed by the Nevada legislators, gives the A's $380 million of public funding. We all know that. That's, of course, if schools over stadiums doesn't get the referendum, and then it's definitely over, but whatever. That money's supposed to be coming to the A's from Nevada. It is site-specific. And the A's, who originally were saying that they had an agnostic business plan, meaning they could move if they wanted to, quickly pivoted and said, we're totally fine with the fact that you're saying we need to build this thing right behind the Tropicana. Ooh, what a tangled web we weave. So you got a little bit of a problem there because they've either got to now go back and redo the law so that they can move to a different place, which they need to do if they're going to stay in Vegas. I've said this all along. All of the sites that are out there, I think there's two that at this point make sense. I don't necessarily agree with those who say the festival grounds, and the reason why is I don't think they want to sell that. I think the owners of the festival grounds that also own Circus, I think they make a good chunk of change by making that space available for music festivals and the like. So let's cross that off the list and forget about the Wild Wild West. Fertitas. I keep saying Fertitti. Sorry about that. It is Fertitas. And that whole thing with the union and all that. So anyway, we're back to what I said before, which was originally the Rio site. And apparently the A's would have been able to purchase that for $1. And for whatever reason, they decided that wasn't a good place to be, even though for any local, they would tell you they'd much rather go there because it's not on the strip. It's off strip. So, but you can get there from the strip. It's not like it's that big a deal to go to the Rio. People have been doing it for years. But for locals to be able to get in and out, that's called egress, which at one time Dave Cavill said was the most important thing. Remember that? Anyway, Rio site is where I think it makes the most sense. If not, we did tell you about that Alltel Arena site that all of a sudden became available at the end of November, right before the A's were supposed to show you the renderings. I wonder what that is all about. Okay, I don't want to come off as one of those I told you so's, but at least, like I said, where there's smoke, there's often fire. Vital Vegas has reported this, and I don't think they're off base. I think they probably know what they're talking about. So we're back to a domed stadium on the 9 acres at the Trop, except it causes a problem for the people who matter, which would be the stockholders of GLP, Gaming Leisure Properties, and Bally's, who don't have any money, who are now trying to figure out, what do we do with this thing once we knock it down? Are we going to have enough footprint left to be able to build what we need to build? And oops, we can't build high. We need to build wide because there's that thing called the airport right behind us. Okay? All of that comes crashing down at the same time. Just in time for a little event in Las Vegas, which we're going to be attending tomorrow. More on that in just a minute. But like I said, mixed bag of stuff here for today. Definitely got lots and lots to talk about. One of the things that I think is kind of important and we should probably get to pretty quick is that the Oakland Ballers, the Bees, now have company in California, which is very, very cool. I don't know if you know, because a lot of people don't, what a high wheeler is, but they certainly know in YOLO. YOLO knows. Yeah, if you're in YOLO County and you're hanging around in Davis, maybe the first thing that you see is bicycles and lots of them. That's how people get around in Davis. They are one of the most cycling-friendly cities on the planet. And with that in mind, YOLO County's first professional sports team will be playing in Davis, California. A high wheeler, that's going to be the name of the baseball team, which makes them the second Pioneer League baseball team in California to go along with the Ballers. So it's like instant rival, right? Oakland and Davis. Not too far apart. Plenty of turf to fight over. I'll see you and Martinez. So we'll have to follow all that. But that's going to be fun. Gives you somebody to play against right away. It's always great to watch the A's and Giants go after each other. So let's do it with the Ballers and the High Wheelers, which makes a particular friend of mine, Alan Snell, over at lvsportsbiz.com. Makes him happy. He's a guy who loves his bike. When I told him the name today, he's like, yep, love it. High Wheelers playing in YOLO, Pioneer League. And then Bleacher Report's Zachary Reimer has some ideas. He thinks he knows how the A's can improve themselves. And what he says specifically is that they need to make a run at a couple of what he calls affordable free agents. I didn't know there was such a thing, but apparently there is. Anyway, that's the call from Zach, and we're going to tell you kind of maybe who he's got in mind. But before we do that, I got to let you know what's happening at FanDuel. You know, it is indeed that time of year. It's football season, and it's the best part of football season because, well, you got championship games this coming weekend, and then soon, of course, the big game. And our friends over at FanDuel, they want you to know something. They want you to know that you can get involved in the game, and not just that, but for a $5 bet, a money line bet that wins, you can get $150 in bonus bets. You like prop bets? Of course you do. You like the overs and unders? You bet. Grab something you like, get involved in the game, and it really does make it a whole lot more fun, too. Again, it's an awesome deal for you with FanDuel. A $5 bet gets you $150 in bonus bets if you're a new customer and your team wins. Don't forget, it's FanDuel.com/lockedon, and you can take advantage of this great deal from FanDuel, official partner of the National Football League. Good time to watch some football. Okay, so those Oakland A's, little bump, right? Some drama today. More on that as that story develops, because it's certainly a story. And again, it's just one of those things where the more things take to get going, as you're sitting there and you're going, when are we seeing renderings? When are we going to hear about where the rest of the money's coming from? That story just continues to unravel and unwind and get thicker and thicker and more interesting by the day. Meanwhile, as I said, you got somebody who says he knows how to fix what's on the field. And that is interesting in and of itself, so let's get into that. We want to go all the way to the beginning. Bleacher Report's Zachary Reimer, who says the A's need to make a run at a couple of free agents, the ones that he calls affordable, i.e. available. Here's the quote, and I love this. Projections for 2024 don't have the A's as being especially disastrous in any one area. The problem is, more so, that they're not good anywhere, which gets to the truth of the matter. What's needed here is a whole new team. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't think so. I think we got some building blocks, but yeah, that's just funny. He says, of course, that's not practical. So it's pitching, and more pitching, which should be the club's top priority. Now, I'll be the first to say, I think there is some pitching already on the roster that, of course, needs to develop. But let's hear what Zach has to say. He says there's a couple of former Dodgers that could be available for the A's for different reasons. We start off with former Dodger, former Blue Jay, Hyun Jin Ryu. On my fantasy team for a long time for good reasons. 8 years in the bigs. Came over from the KBO, where he has like every record ever for a pitcher in Korean baseball. 7-time All-Star, he's Rookie of the Year, League MVP. He did all of that in Korea. Well above 500 as an MLB starter, 78 and 48. And at the end of the 2019 season, Ryu was the only pitcher born in Asia with a sub-3 career ERA. And now after 4 years in Toronto, it's gone up a little bit, but still very respectable 3.27. So he's got those 8 seasons. And now, of course, the issue is 36 years old, has had Tommy John surgery. How much can you pay a guy who was getting $20 million a year 4 years ago? Well, the consensus out there is that he's probably a $10 million 1 year, prove it or lose it contract kind of guy. So that would put him into the conversation with the A's because, Trevor May last year, they have spent $10 million in a year before. Now, I'm not so sure about this year. I think all bets might be off going into 2024, considering the status of the A's with their fan base in Oakland, as you can well imagine. All right, now the other suggestion from Zach is a guy named Alex Reyes, and you probably know the name. He debuted with the Cardinals back in 2016. But here's the whole issue with him. It's injuries, okay? He missed all of 2017, had an elbow injury, forced him to get the TJ surgery, so he gets that. Then in 2018, he rehabs, comes back, only to then have a lat injury, which ends his season. He bounced back and forth then between the Cardinals and Springfield, going back and forth, before they finally made him a major leaguer for good. Cards closer in 2021, 1.12 ERA with 20 saves in the first half. Obviously good enough to make the All-Star team, which he did. And on July 18th, he actually set a Major League Baseball record, most consecutive saves to begin a career with 24. After pitching to a 1.52 ERA in the first half, he just completely fell apart in the second half. Went 5-5. His ERA was 5.52 over 31 innings. Eventually got taken out of the closer role. And you might remember National League Wildcard Game 2021. It was Reyes who gave up that 2-out, 2-run walk-off piece to Chris Taylor in the bottom of the ninth. Yeah, not good. Reyes was placed on the 60-day injured list to begin the season, March 25th, 2022, because he had a shoulder issue in spring training. And then second verse, same as the first, receives the stem cell injection in the shoulder. May 23rd, guess what? Yeah, he's going to need surgery, and he's going to miss the rest of the season. So, non-tendered, became a free agent without ever making an appearance November 18th. Last year, he signs a one-year, $1.1 million deal with the Dodgers, and not so much. June 11th, it's announced that he had undergone surgery on his right shoulder, wouldn't be pitching during the 2023 season. Dodgers declined to pick up the option, and can you blame him? He's a free agent. So he's there, but buyer beware. You got to be careful here. Definitely a big old fragile sticker on this box, right? But low risk, high reward. Probably not going to cost you much to bring him in. Look, at one point, the dude was striking out 14 for every 9 innings, okay? So he's got a history of being dominant. Last I checked, we need a closer. Like Rue, he's a roll of the dice. But come on, we're talking about the A's here. I don't even know if they have any dice. And if they do, I bet they've only got one. Anyway, I'm going to bet that they don't touch either one of them, because why spend money on free agents when you're just trying to, buy a little time before you go someplace else? And where is that someplace else, you may be asking? Well, who knows? Here's what we do know. Last Thursday, the A's kicked the tires, as we told you last episode, on West Sacramento's Sutter Health Park, where the Giants AAA team plays currently. Used to be Rayleigh Field, and the River Cats used to be our AAA team. But, of course, now they're the Giants. That, I guess, went okay, right? Very same afternoon, they get back on the plane. They fly to Salt Lake City, home of the Salt Lake City Bees, AAA team for the LA Angels. And what they found there is a unique situation, because you got Smith's Ballpark, where the Bees currently play. 14,500 is your capacity there. Then you have a whole new stadium that's under construction and is expected to be ready to go for 2025. Remember, the A's have a lease in Oakland through the end of 2024. So they're going to need a place to play in 25, 26, 27, thus the tire kick and road trips for the A's contingent. So they went to Salt Lake, and surprise, surprise, the stadium that they're actually focusing on isn't the one with 14,500 seats that you'd think they'd be talking about, because A, closer to the airport, B, closer to downtown, C, about to be vacated because the Bees are moving over to their brand new ballpark that only seats 7,500. So you put the big league team in the bigger place, you put the minor league team in the small. No, you don't. Sorry, hate to break it to you. Conversation has been centered on the new ballpark, which is in kind of a suburb. It's a planned community called Daybreak that's a ways out of Salt Lake. So that's where the A's and the people there in Salt Lake City have announced the attention has been placed. That's the park they're focusing on. If the A's were to indeed go to Salt Lake City, they wouldn't be playing at Smith's. In fact, they would be telling the Bees, you're going to hang out here for 3 or 4 years. Sorry, you can't go into your new ballpark because we're playing in it, see? So we'll have to wait and see how that goes. But again, Salt Lake City, just so you know, it's 11 hours or 700 miles if you're coming from the Bay Area and you're an A's fan wanting to see your team play up in Utah. Now, it is possible that we might know a little bit more about this, because tomorrow it's Preview Las Vegas, as the Chamber is wont to do. Chamber of Commerce gets together with about 12 to 1,500 people every year, and they let you know what you can look forward to in the city. And it's at the brand new Fontainebleau, and guess who's going to be there? Well, I'll tell you. because I know you want to know. How about, for the record, Jeremy Aguero from Applied Systems? He's going to be there to, tell you things are going to happen and how it's all going to work like he does so well. And then Steve Hill, who pretty much runs everything. So they'll both be there. As we understand it, there will be spokespersons available from the A's who are, I guess, going to make a presentation right about 10:25. I'm assuming, and boy, that's probably going to get me in trouble, but I'm assuming it's Dave Kaval because he has been, of course, the face of and mouthpiece of the A's organization for a while now, although John Fisher has seen his shadow, and we've seen him on TV. So who knows? I don't know if John's going to be there. I don't know who's going to represent the A's, but apparently they're going to take about 30 minutes to tell us what's going on. And with everything that we just told you, as reported by Vital Vegas and Field of Schemes, the whole Trop thing could be blowing up. And if that's the case, this thing will have to go back in front of the people who vote, because remember, SB1 is site agnostic. So, site specific, not site agnostic, which means they'll have to go back and somehow change the wording of the bill. I'm not quite sure how that works. I'm not a politician, but I play one on the radio. All right, we'll find out. I'll be there tomorrow, and I'll let you know. I'll give you everything I hear and see tomorrow, and we'll find out if indeed there's any news. I really highly doubt that you're going to see renderings of any kind tomorrow. There's too much going on. They're trying to figure out where they're going to play for 3 or 4 years. They're going to try to figure out if they stay at the Tropicana site, or if not, if they can move to another site, the Rio or the festival grounds, or as Vital Vegas has said for a while now, and that's certainly given us all a little bit of hope, maybe, just maybe, Fisher and the rest have had enough, and they're just going to go, okay, fine. Here's how much I want, but I'll sell the team. And if that happens, maybe they stay in Oakland. Stranger things have happened. This is just goofy. And anybody who's been following along can tell you, yeah, you're right. It's goofy. Well, we got a brand new network. Did I tell you about that? Well, this is pretty cool because it's 24 hours a day. It's 365 days a year, and it's called Locked On Sports Today. You get the best sports coverage from all around the country, all of the people that are right there entrenched in their markets like we are, that can report, boots on the ground style. And whether it's baseball, football, basketball, hockey, it's all happening 24/7 streaming. First streaming 24/7 network, by the way, sports network in existence. Yeah, how you like us now? Locked On Sports Today. Make sure you check it out. Now, at the end of this episode, I promise I'm going to send you over that way, and we'll see what you think. Well. It wasn't all that long ago that all this stuff was being talked about in front of the people who, they make their living by making laws. One of those people, Fabian Donate, spoke up very loudly about his feelings with the A's, and in particular with Dave Kaval. And when he did that, he made his feelings pretty clear that he thought the A's were being, well, I'll just let him tell you.
Thank you for being here.
Senator, yeah, it's great to be here. Thank you so much. Dave Kaval, president of the A's. I'm happy to answer any questions you have. If you could restate the question, it'd be great.
Sure. So This is my final question. It's directly to you. So on page 39 of your presentation, you listed the tax revenue sources, and there's several tax revenue sources that will be included in the Sports and Entertainment and Improvement District. In one of them, you've listed the live entertainment tax, and that's something that is going to be captured. And so this question is directly to you as the leadership of the Oakland Athletics and your future presence. In the legislation before us, I find it a coincidence that there are funding considerations that will take certain tax percentages away from our county, and that's a problem. Having said that, I believe there's an equity issue that exists in our state, and I want to make sure that I get this from you directly. Given the gaps that we have seen in conversations we've had throughout this session, it is clear that not everyone pays for the live entertainment tax. For example, in my district, which is also where the stadium is going to be located, we have venues like Sand Dollar. It's a local bar that features live bands, and they pay the live entertainment tax. But considerations like yours, athletic stadiums, or events would not have to pay for it. So I want to get this just off on the record directly to you. Would you agree that it is important to maintain equity across all businesses and that you will commit to willingly pay for the live entertainment tax for baseball games and athletic events featured at this facility in the near future?
Well, I appreciate the question. Obviously, we're bringing the baseball team to Southern Nevada, over $1 billion in private capital. We're looking for a partnership, and we want to make sure that we're going to continue to invest in a variety of ways to improve the situation for small businesses, medium-sized businesses, in a variety of fashions beyond the live entertainment tax. So I think by bringing additional tourists and other ways that generate tax dollars for the community, we think our project can actually be a net positive for the community, plus the quality of life that comes with a baseball team.
Thank you so much for that. But that didn't answer my question. So again, it's a yes or no. Will you willingly commit to pay the live entertainment tax in the near future to fix the equity issue that exists?
Like I said, we are committed to being a great community partner in Southern Nevada and investing, over $1 billion to ensure
that still does not answer the question, sir. I'm asking you directly, yes or no. Will you commit to paying the equity issue that we see existence for the live entertainment tax?
The legislation as it's currently envisioned, does not contemplate that. The project is based on, what is currently proposed. And so we've been focusing on that as really the path forward for the team and for the community.
Thank you. I mean, I find that disingenuous. I asked you directly, you're going to be capturing this as part of your legislation, yet you can't even commit to doing it yourself. And so I think that's something that the taxpayers must know of this state, but I divert my questions for the next round. Thank you.
I can't watch that enough. All right, there's Fabian Donate and Dave Kaval. My favorite part, by the way, in the whole thing is where Kaval, you could tell, thinks he's off the hook, and he's like, hey, man, no problem. Gives him the cool, it's all good, brother. And then he comes right back at him again with another tough question. And he's just, Anyway, didn't matter. None of that mattered because the vote that you thought was going to be a no there, I mean, it really sounded and looked like a no, right? It wasn't even a maybe. It was flipped to a yes. Fabian got a check, as did many people. So, it's what they say. Politics as usual. It wasn't lost on me that his name is there at the bottom of the screen, and it says donate, which, of course, the A's were more than happy to do. You know what else they're happy to do? They are happy to give you a bobblehead. The promotion calendar that a lot of people were saying, well, they're lame ducks. They're not going to give us anything. Why should they? Why spend the money? Well, the A's announced a pretty robust schedule of promotional giveaway items, including the always famous bobbleheads, which include Satchel Paige sitting in a rocking chair, even though that was Kansas City A's, whatever, doesn't matter. Raleigh Fingers, Vida Blue, Jose Canseco, and Ricky Henderson bobbleheads. Now, the first thing I thought was, oh, these are leftover bobbleheads from years past. They've just been sitting in boxes, so the A's are going to step up to the table, not spend an additional dime, and just give away the leftover bobbleheads while they last. And if you go on social media, you can read that for a lot of people, hasn't been a great experience. They're like, well, unless you're one of the first 10 people through the gate, you don't get anything. I was in line all morning and one of the first people in the stadium, and yet all the giveaway items were gone when I got in. So people are saying that, but hey, at least they're doing something, right? I circled a couple of dates here that I think would be pretty cool. Hall of Fame ceremony on August 17th. I always think that's neat when you get to see the A's best players of the past come back and, get acknowledged for what they did in an Oakland uniform. I think it's a cool thing. So that might be one game where you break the exception. I'm not going to put a penny in John's pocket. You might want to do that for the sake of the players, right? August 17th. Saturday, June 23rd, it's A's versus Twins, and I love these reunion get-togethers. This year, of course, the 1974 World Series team, the third of three in a row back in 72, 3, and 4. They're going to be honored. There'll be a jersey giveaway to go along with that, a retro jersey. And again, I'm like, okay, is that just the box of 73s that we never gave away? Who knows? Who cares? You're going to see A's greats come back to the Coliseum where they all made their name and had those great moments, and they'll get honored and then inducted into the Oakland Athletics Hall of Fame, which is awesome. So there's a couple of exceptions. I know we've got our tickets for the final game of the year, which is a day game during the week against Texas Rangers. So there's that. And then, of course, the opening day, are you going to go inside? You're just going to tailgate and party in the parking lot? All of that we're going to find out. Of course, we're hanging out with the Chamber of Commerce tomorrow. So much going on. It's awesome. Hope you're loving the coverage. I certainly love bringing it to you. So give us a thumbs up. We can grow the channel that way, and we definitely appreciate it. And of course, subscribe. So that way you'll know when we're right back here with another episode. It's, of course, Locked On A's, your team every day. And I'm Wayne Coy. Thanks for being here. Talk to you again real soon. And until then, you keep on swinging.